there aren't results there, I want to get in the boardroom and I want to know why.
And what we saw was interesting. I've never seen this before in business.
To me, it's like, just don't bullshit my time.
It's a tough world. And if you're not tough, I don't care if you're a guy or a woman, it's going to eat you alive.
There's certain instances where you're like, I don't want that for myself.
You really want to know?
Yeah.
She literally saved my life.
I am so excited to have you guys here today, and there is so much to unpack. But first, I feel like we have to unpack our tequila Mexican lunch that we had. How'd you guys meet?
So first, I got to tell you, I was talking to Michael earlier. He goes, "Are you nervous?" I'm like, "No, I've done 1,000 things like this." And I paused. I'm like, "But not with Lauren." And Lauren makes you a bit nervous because we hung out with you guys. And the only reason I'm doing this is because the time we spent with you was fantastic. You guys are great human beings.
Beautiful.
We were just telling some of our counterparts here how rare it is to meet people that are actually the people they presume to be. And you guys are those guys.
Well, let's get through the podcast and see if you feel the same
way.
Lauren's
terrified, though. Lauren's terrified. We're having drinks. And anyways, we'll get to that later. Lauren is scary. So how did we meet? So this is a beautiful story. Takes us back 24 years. I think we were 20 and 19 years old when we first met. And then 20 and 21, we got married. First of all, let me step back. I told my father I'm never going to get married. I'm going to travel the world, enjoy my life. I don't need a wife. One night, I'm at an event that Durana's cousin threw. Him and I were best friends. We're in the same basketball team together. And I saw her walk by, and it's going to sound cheesy and corny, but it's the truth. I swear to God, time slowed down. I saw her walk by, and it was like a light glared on her face, and time slowed. I swear to God.
Shahab, I'm going to slow you down right now. You keep saying this sweet stuff on the show. It's going to make me look like shit, all right?
I'm just telling you the truth, man. I get so much shit from my friends too, but it's the truth. What do you want me to do? And so I was like flabbergasted. I walked over, grabbed her hand, and I said, "I'm Shahab." And she said, "I know who you are." I said, "I'm going to marry you one day." And that was the genesis of the story. A year later, we were married, and
oh, no. We have to go back.
Okay. You want the whole deal?
I want the whole deal.
So I want the part where you're in the convertible shirtless.
Done. Okay. Okay. So she snatches her hand out of my hand. That was the cool part. Now here's the not cool part. And she says something to the effect of, "Try that line on some of the chicken heads in here." And then she like storms off, pissed off. And I was like, God damn, I couldn't believe I was never denied like this before. I was actually dating a Laker girl at the time. So I had, reasonable game. Now, mind you, I was like 6'3" back then with really nice hair. So I was a different looking guy than I am today. And she like storms off. And the whole night now, I'm like determined to figure out how to get this girl. I had to get this girl. And ironically enough, she had arrived with one of our best friends in a 2-door. Remember those Honda S2000s or like little 2-seaters?
Yep.
And I had just bought this new Porsche. It was a two-seater Porsche. My friend was into her friend. So I had this whole scheme the entire night. I didn't care about the club anymore. The club was over to me. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't grab a drink. I was fully focused on this one mission. So I told my buddy, his name is Van. I said, "Van, when her car pulls around," Janina is her name, and valet, just jump in the car and go. Because, at that time, everyone would go to this 24-hour Mexican spot.
You wanted to get the friend out so that you could, okay.
Right, divide and conquer. It's a
very classy spot.
It's a standard thing, Michael.
Yeah.
Come on. So,
Del Taco.
So the car pulls up, and sure enough, Van jumps in, the car disappears. And she's left with no car. Now, this is before cell phones. This is 1999. Cell phones were really brand new, and everyone had one. So she has no ride. And so, of course, I showed up right in time. I said, "Well, we're going to the same spot. You should just jump in the car with us." And after like complaining and arguing for like 5 minutes, she agreed. And I really had to show off. So I put the top down to the convertible, put the top down. We get on the freeway. It was freaking December, dude. So it was freezing. So she's cold. She's shivering. So I felt, I'm a gentleman. So I took my shirt off and gave her my shirt. And the only thing worse was a shirtless guy in a convertible Porsche trying to be cool. And so that was the beginning of the whole thing. And so the end of the night happens. I go in for a kiss, and all my friends are watching, of course. And she gives me the pull away. The whole.
I love a pull away.
You'd like to pull away?
Yeah.
This is brutal, man.
You have to work for it.
Well, see, the thing is, you guys don't understand how devastating it is for a guy. A pull away is like the worst thing to happen to you. And then have 20 of your friends watch the pull away. There's nothing, you can't recover.
They're all going to be goofing you after.
You're obsessed then. You're obsessed. You want to get married. But keep going.
I was done.
Yeah, you're done.
So she disappears. She doesn't give me her number. She's gone for the night. I don't hear from her again. a few weeks go by. I had just opened a cell phone store. This is where cell phones were kind of a big deal. So I had a cell phone store. And now here's where the story gets a little quirky.
Wait, to back up, do you in hindsight, in a cold December night, shirtless in a convertible, you like still stand by that move, or?
I was pretty lean back then. I don't know, man. I thought it was the right play. I still stand by, because the end result is 24 years later, or 23 and a half years later.
Something worked, yeah.
2 kids and a bunch of companies. Yeah, everything's been fine. So I had a cell phone store. Now here's where our stories separate. Up to this point, we're aligned, right?
We're aligned.
Do you dispute anything that just happened?
No, nothing.
You're
else.
into me from the very first second.
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
I'll try to slide that in there. Okay. So to this point, we're aligned. Now here's where the stories get funky. You can listen to both of our arguments. Like, imagine you're a jury. You guys decide, and the audience can decide who's more likely to be lying or telling the truth.
Okay.
Her best friend needs a cell phone. Now, apparently, there's only one place to get a freaking cell phone in the entire universe. So there's 2 options, right? There's only one place to get a cell phone in the entire universe, my store, or Durana was trying to re-engage somehow.
No, we were like broke college kids.
don't-
Right? We were looking for a hustle. Like, who's going to give her the best deal?
Okay.
Well, I think there's probably truth to both your stories. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
probably like,
Sure.
she's like, this guy's going to give
Let's
me
go
a
with
deal,
that.
but he's also interesting, you know?
Let's go with that.
All right.
Sure. So anyway, so her friend comes to my store, and she picks out, and her friend's family owned Dairy Queens. Like, they were really well off. So of course she orders like the most expensive, that back then was a StarTAC. It was a little flip phone by Motorola. It opened and closed like a compact. It was like $1,500. So she orders that and a bunch of accessories, like $2,000. And for me, $2,000 back then was like $1 million. That was a lot of money. And so when she came to pay for it, I said, I'll give it to you for free. Only thing I want in exchange is one night, one date with your friend. And she sold out Durana like it was nothing. She's like, yeah, I'm in. It's done. So that was like the genesis to our first date. So then she finally concedes to dinner. So I'm stoked, right? So I get up there. I get there nice and early, pick her up from her dorm. She was at UCLA at the time. So she comes down, and she's like devastatingly good looking. Like, holy shit, good looking. And I'm never nervous on dates, but I was super nervous on this date because there was something different about her than anyone else I've ever met. And so we go to this restaurant on Third Street Promenade, very, very high end, uber chic restaurant. Aqua, bravo. And I was like determined to show her who I was. So I ordered literally everything on the menu. Everything you imagine, like 50 items on the menu.
Literally everything.
That was no, that was stupid. But I was, give me a break, I was 20 or 21. And so halfway through the dinner, she disappears. She goes, I have to go to the bathroom.
Well, what did I say to you before I went
So
to
she
the
gets
bathroom?
up. Yes, I remember this conversation. She gets up and she leans in, only like Durana can, and said, I'm going to paraphrase something if I'm wrong, okay? It's been 24 years. She says something to the effect of, I want a man that can give me something that I can't buy myself.
Yeah. So
Come
what
on.
I said is, I said, thank you so much for this dinner. Because Aqua's I don't know if it's still around, but it was like one of the poshest restaurants. And I said, thank you for bringing me to this restaurant, and thank you for wining and dining me. But a woman of my caliber, I don't want this. What I want, the man that's going to be with me, the man of my life, he's going to give me something I can't give myself.
Right.
That's love and respect. And for everything else, I'll work hard for it.
So then she disappears. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the bathroom. I'm like, either this girl has like irritable bowel syndrome or she's left me. Either way, this night's not going well. So finally, like 30 minutes later, she shows up, and what she had done in the entire time was she called her credit card company. When you go to college, you guys remember this or not, you get a $500 credit limit on some student credit card. She was begging them for a credit card increase because she told the credit card processing company that if I don't pick up this meal, this guy thinks he's going to get some tonight, and that can't happen. So I asked for the check. The guy comes around and says, no, she's taking care of the check already. And I've never experienced that before. So it's just another layer of like, holy crap, Durana Elmi. And after that, it was over. I was done.
Well, I love this story with you guys so much, and there's so much we're going to unpack here, because I think, to give the audience context, we have a relationship now, but we've been working with you guys and loving the company you've created for so long now. You guys are co-founders of Cymbioktika. And so we have a lot of context. And I think from the outside, people would look at your lives now and say like, wow, this is an extreme success story. But what Lauren and I are always attracted to is where people come from and the struggles they've been through. And like, I relate to a lot of what you're saying. You're a young guy, you start to have a little success. You think that the way that you impress people is by kind of showing off some of that success. But like this was not something that was handed to either of you. And I want to talk about that a little bit, because I think people can hear these stories and like, see the success now and be like, oh, that, that makes sense, but they don't realize where you came from.
Yeah.
So maybe to back up a little bit and talk about your upbringings, and then we can get to where, we are now.
So thanks for teeing that up, because, earlier I was telling Durana, I hate podcasts, a lot of podcasts I listen to. I can't stand these freaking podcasts, a lot of them, because it becomes people who want to pat themselves on the back. They show up on these podcasts. It becomes an hour of like, I'm the greatest guy of all time.
And
I've done nothing but hit home
and they don't
runs.
bring Cristal, so it's kind of like,
they suck. They don't make Cristal. But they paint this picture, Salu. They paint this picture of a linear life, like a straight line. And life is not like that, man. I think it's important to acknowledge that life is tough. Life has ups and downs, relationships have ups and downs. If you guys are entrepreneurs, super successful entrepreneurs, but you don't wake up one day like this. Like, there's pitfalls, and it's okay. Like, it's completely okay to accept the fact that there are gonna be struggles in anything you do in life. And the more you accept that and embrace that, the more successful you'll be. So don't listen to this nonsense on these other shows where everyone's like, yes, I woke up one day, I had this perfect relationship. My first business was a billionaire enterprise. It's never like that. They're just full of shit. And our relationship is no different. Like, when we started out, we were really like poor. We had no money. So there were some days, I'm not too proud to admit it, we had to shower at the, 20, I think back then it was LA Fitness gym, because we couldn't pay for our water heater. And, 90% of our meals was Durana making, like, there was a ghetto grocery store chain. It's still around, I think.
Oh, John's.
So in the West Coast, Vons is a grocery store chain. There's a knockoff called John's. They have the same logo, same color scheme. We just saw it recently, no? And they changed their color. They got sued to change their color scheme. They sold this ramen type of noodles, but it was 10 for $1, and each block was for 2 people. So 5 cents a meal. And Durana made that pretty much every night for us. That's all we can afford for a very, very long time. Like,
Did
7,
you
8.
have like a specialty of how you would make it?
So go ahead. You want to say?
Chopped potatoes,
Okay.
cilantros, Tabasco,
Lemon.
and lemon.
That
Actually sounds pretty good.
God bless my wife. At every step that we were at, she made it the greatest it could possibly be. Like, our first home, where did the furniture come from?
Goodwill.
I'm like, and I wish more people were honest about stuff like that. Like, you have to start from somewhere, unless your parents were really uber rich, like ours weren't.
No, but I think, like, I'm listening to you talk, and I have and you guys do too. I have a lot of single guy friends. And one of the arguments that I make to them a lot is, I personally feel, and I'll say something sweet now, that in my career, I have excelled faster maybe than some in some areas, because I have a really strong woman by my side supporting me. And it's one that gives you like a ton of confidence. And also, when you hit hard times, which you inevitably will, especially if you're an entrepreneur, having that support system is worth more than anything. But also, it's completely eliminated all the distractions that I think a lot of young men in particular, and I guess young women, go through in the quote unquote dating world, which, listen, it's hard to find the relationships we all have. I'm not like undermining that, but I think sometimes people glamorize this kind of frivolous single life where they're not focused and they're just chasing a bunch of tail. And to me, it's like, that's all that if you do that, you're going to lose a ton of focus and you're missing out on some of the special things in life. Does that make sense?
It's the truest thing ever. And it applies to me a lot. So my younger days, unfortunately, I got in a lot of trouble. And so when Durana and I were dating, my buddies and I, we would go to clubs and get fights almost every week. Like clockwork, every single freaking week. And I'll never forget this day. We were at a club in Orange County, and Durana and I, now we're getting pretty serious. Our relationship was like 6 or 7 months in. And we were leaving this club. I looked back at my friends that had gone to this big brawl. And I turned back to run to join them, and she grabbed me and said, "If you take one more step, this is over." And that was the last fight. I never fought again. And a week later, 2 of my friends were stabbed to death, rest their soul, Hossein and Elvis, in front of a Mexican restaurant, like 2 a.m, which inevitably I would have been part of that group, guaranteed.
Wow.
And so, like, to say she saved my life, it's not conjecture. She literally saved my life. And the focus, and more important than focus, it's everything I do for her. So like the level of drive I have now, and I have from the day I met this woman, it's changed 1,000%. So when you have that level of focus, because you're not for yourself, it's a lot easier to do something for other people than yourself. Like, a lot of times I don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Like, I'm tired, I'm stressed. But for her and my girls, I'll do it.
Yeah,
For
it's
me,
the
I
same thing.
won't.
Let me tell you something. This is what everyone's going to do. You guys listening? You are going to play the first 10 minutes of this episode in front of the guy you're dating. And you're going to play it while you're doing your makeup. Like you're just listening to the podcast casually. And you're going to subliminally manipulate them while they're in the background brushing their eyebrows or trimming their pubic hair or whatever the fuck they're doing. And they need to hear this so they know how to treat a woman.
Unfortunately, when we get with a woman, we stop trimming our pubic hair and our eyebrows.
That's not true. The other day I saw something in the toilet that was looking like
that's
trimming.
my beard hair.
Okay.
No, I mean, listen, I don't want to sound like this sappy guy, but I talk to, at this point, like a lot of young men, and I think like they sometimes glamorize the wrong things, and they're looking for this success in life that's, I think, harder and harder to find if you're not able to stay focused. And to your point, even when we had children, like I do, want to do everything I can for my wife, but even having that extra layer of like, now I'm getting up for my children, like there's no greater motivation.
And nothing can stop you. I said this before, and people think, again, it's like corny cliche thing. I really don't give a shit. I tell all my friends who are still single, I've been very fortunate in my life to do a lot of unique things in the business world as an entrepreneur. I could live 1,000 lifetimes and nothing I will do will match this woman. Like she's my greatest accomplishment, and it's not even close. And I think, the Andrew Tates of the world probably disagree, but if you find the one person you're meant to find, it's an amazing thing, man. It gives you, I always had this rule. I'm like, I really believe no one believed in me before. And the less they believed in me, the more I believed in myself until I met her. I'm like, she believes in me more than anyone does. And that gives me superhero powers, I think. And from the day we met, it's been on, man. From that point on, we hand out L's all over the place. It's fantastic.
Okay, when I moved to Austin, I wanted cowboy boots. I wanted them immediately. And I heard all about Tecovas from my friend Emily, who's also a stylist. And she said they're just like the best cowboy boots. So I went on, I ordered my first pair of cowboy boots. I've never had cowboy boots before. And I ordered the Abbey. They're in midnight, which is like a black. I got them in my size. They're true to size. They're absolutely incredible. I wear them all the time. They're so comfortable, but also I love to style them. So what I like to do is I like to wear a comfortable light or medium light jean and tuck it in the boots. And then I'll wear it with just like a simple t-shirt, and I feel so Texas and so cute and also so stylish at the same time. These cowboy boots, in my opinion, are the best. I think they just know how to make a boot. They bring a fresh perspective to heritage boot making. So you get that nostalgic feel, but you also get beautiful handmade premium leather. Tecova boots are Austin design. They're Texas tested. And Tecova, you should know, is Western to their core. Tecovas believe in Western for all. And when you go there in store, you can get custom fitted for a new pair of boots. They also offer a boot shine and a drink. I mean, hello. If you can't make it to the store, Tecovas delivers the most premium quality and most comfortable Western goods right to your door. Visit tecovas.com, that's Tecovas.com, and point your toes west. I want to get my morning sunlight, and I also want to spend time with my son, so I'll put my 1-year-old in the stroller, and I will put on Melissa Woodhull's walking meditation. There's a bunch of different ones. I'm obsessed with this one by her that's 16 minutes. I also love the 11-minute one. I became a fan of Melissa Wood a long time ago. I found her on Instagram, reached out to her, had her on the podcast. The episode did so well that we had her back on. And I have used her meditations every single day since I met her. I literally log in. I hear her voice all the time. Not only do I use her meditations, I also really like her workouts. And they're a blend of yoga and Pilates classes. So what I'll do is I'll use them when I don't have time to make it to the gym or when I need to squeeze something in. They have 20-minute workouts. They have 12-minute arms. They even have stuff that you can do in 30 minutes. They're just quick. And she launched this 7-day reset and renew program that features guided workouts and meditation. And it's absolutely amazing. It's like a week-long nutrition program too. Everything's designed to help you feel your best and strengthen both your body and your mind. Workouts, meditation, nutrition, lifestyle. She has it all. We have a code for you. As Melissa says herself, don't trust me, try it. Visit melissawoodhealth.com and use code SKINNY at checkout to get your first month free off your monthly membership. Visit melissawoodhealth.com and use code SKINNY at checkout to get your first month free off your monthly membership. That's melissawoodhealth.com. Use code SKINNY for your first month free. It's so funny because I'm traveling right now and I brought my Branch Basics with me to the hotel. I've actually asked them if they can clean with Branch Basics. They're totally open to it, which is no surprise because non-toxic is the way to go. Branch Basics is free of fragrance, hormone disruptors, and harmful preservatives that wreak havoc on your health. The kit I would get is their premium starter kit. This is going to replace all your harmful cleaning products in the home. You should also know Branch Basics also has a new luxurious gel hand soap made with only the safest ingredients to nourish the skin. I'm all about this hand soap because I got my blood tested and noticed that I had high levels of triclosan, and triclosan is found in a lot of over-the-counter soaps. So to know that Branch Basics is giving you a non-toxic soap is so, so amazing. Most importantly, if you have babies or kids or pets and they're close to the floor, you want to make sure that you're cleaning with non-toxic products, and Branch Basics does it all. I have used my code so many times. I've sent it to all my friends, my dad, all the things. Save 15% on your starter kit or their new hand soap when you use code SKINNY at checkout. That's branchbasics.com. Again, that's code SKINNY for 15% off when you purchase a starter kit or their new gel hand soap. Save 15% on your starter kit or their new hand soap when you use code SKINNY at checkout. That's branchbasics.com. Again, that's code SKINNY for 15% off when you purchase a starter kit or their new gel hand soap. And if you haven't listened to the Him and Her episode with the founder of Branch Basics, go listen. That is a mind-blowing episode. Do you guys think that one of your connections is your childhoods? Because I've talked to you guys off air about your childhoods, and maybe we can start with Durana of you telling us how you grew up. Do you think that there's synergy there?
I mean, I definitely think my childhood has made me who I am today, and for that, I'm incredibly grateful. And you and I spoke, Lauren, but I had a very tough upbringing. My father was an alcoholic, and he was very, very strict. I could never go out at nights, and so I was born in Afghanistan, left there when I was 3 months. I'm Afghan American, but I was very Americanized, so I could never understand my father and his like cultural boundaries. So yes, it made me a very tough woman, and at a young age, I literally was manifesting the man who I have in my life today. And life, that grit, life made me so tough that for me, uh, I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to work hard. And I will go after anything and everything that I desire.
Sometimes I talk to people who have had really hard childhoods, and out of it, they've sort of figured out, because they've had what they don't want, they figured out what they want. Because of your relationship with your dad, when you say you were manifesting a guy, what were those qualities?
So the first quality
Short,
was,
buff, bald.
yes, and I got him.
Big personality.
Truth.
Yes. So I really wanted a man who was going to accept me for who I am, because I feel like I have a bold personality, and I'm strong because of the challenges that I went through in life. I wanted someone that was going to support my dreams and not ever tell me, don't dream, this is too big. I wanted someone that was going to say, he always says to me, and I love this about him, he says, you be you and I'll deal with the rest. And I love that, because that means he supports me unconditionally. And so I wanted that. My mother never had that. That was not who my father was for my mother. And so I knew that most important, what I wanted is a man to love me and respect me and take me in for who I was, and then to just ignite the woman that I am.
Do you think that you're so bold because you grew up in a culture where women are like, be
Suppressed?
submissive, be submissive?
Yes.
Because when I hang out with you, like I feel like you are so bold, and almost in a way, and I think you and I connected off this with masculine energy undertones, but still very feminine. Do you think that because you saw women be suppressed so much, that it made you sort of the opposite?
Well, you're bold, but you're also very warm.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Very warm.
Thank you. I mean, I hope so. I feel very girly and like a true girl's girl. But yeah, I mean, life made me really tough. And sometimes I always say, like, I wish I wasn't like this tough. I wish I could just be a little softer. But when you have a father who is physically and emotionally abusing you and breaking you down every night, the only person you have to turn to is yourself.
I don't wish that for you at all. I'm glad you're exactly the way you are. We got two little girls. I want them to be just like their mom. Because the world we're headed to now is a little different than one we grew up in, like our age group. It's a tough world. And if you're not tough, I don't care if you're a guy or a woman, it's going to eat you alive. And this whole context of like, it's weird because these days being masculine as a guy is a bad thing all of a sudden. It's not a bad thing. It's
No.
exactly what we're designed to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean though women can't be tough. Like it doesn't mean if your woman is tough, you're no longer masculine. I'm the toughest tough guy out there. But I want my wife to be who she is. And if anyone has a problem with that, they can come and see me. And I praise her for that. And I want my girls to be just like that too.
What were some things that you saw that you remember? Like you can remember when you were little where you saw a woman be suppressed? Like, is there certain instances where you were like, I don't want that for myself?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember vividly times where my father would chase after me with a knife just because he was drunk. And I remember I would like run up to my room and I would pull the dresser so that he couldn't break through the door. And I would say to myself, like, God, give me the strength to get through this moment. And when I have this strength and when I have the power to like make my own money, to get out of this environment, to get out of this home, I'm going to be fucking unstoppable. And that's who I feel I am today. I feel like now that I know who I am, now that I know my strengths, now that I can look back at my childhood and I'm incredibly grateful for it, I feel like if I was able to get through that, I can get through anything. And I hope that that can reach so many listeners out there because I believe my story is not unique. Everyone's been through something. Everyone has some type of adversity, some type of pain, some type of childhood trauma. So it's not what you go through, but it's what you make of it. It's the thoughts in your own head that determine your outcome. And at that age, for me, I just knew that I'm not going to allow my father to determine who I am. And I am going to be a powerful force. I can't wait. As a matter of fact, I can't wait to get out there. I can't wait to be the voice of the voiceless Afghan women around the world who go through this. And I want all of them to know that at the end of the day, just get through what you're going through because you're going to determine your outcome.
Why do you think so many people are committed to living into the narrative of being a victim?
You know, I think it's easy. I think it's easiest to say like I'm going to victimize myself to my childhood. But the truth is, we all go through what we go through for a reason and for a purpose. And you need to identify what's your purpose, what's your intention. And for me, when I got through it, it was like, I learned because I had such a strong mother how much I love women. I love women. I want to support women all around the world. And it taught me that we live in a world where we need to support one another. And again, don't victimize yourself to your issues because everyone's got some shit going on in their lives. But, you know, you have to look at your experiences. You have to grow from it. And you have to say, this is my story. This is my journey. This is what I'm supposed to go through for what's to come.
Bro.
What about your childhood?
I actually had a really good childhood. I had great parents, have great parents, was very stable. But, you know, when you leave, you know, this is not an original story. Every immigrant can relate to this. When you immigrate to a new country, I was 7.5, 8 when we came here.
From where?
Iran.
Okay.
From Iran. And so it's just a new reality, new world. My greatest parents, but they worked their asses off. You know, they're blue collar workers and, you know, I respect them to death because they've always taught us about being honest and morally intact and integrity. And those are lessons that were really important to us. But when I met Durana, it's like, I think I have two lives. It was before Durana and after Durana. And after Durana, my life changed, man. It became such an absolute level of fulfillment I never thought it could ever exist. I tell my single buddies, until you find that one person, like it's such a crazy thing. I'm a math guy, I'm a finance guy. And so everything in my world has to be 1 + 1 has to equal 2. The crazy thing about like the four of us, if you think about the odds of meeting the one person you're supposed to find, how rare that is, but it happens all the time. Like the odds of winning the lottery is 1 in 350 million. The odds of starting a $1 billion company is 1 in 1.5 billion. The odds of finding the one person you're supposed to find is 1 in 8 billion.
That's crazy.
But
That
yet it
is
happens.
crazy.
So that it means it's just magic. Like there's no defined logic to it. It's not math. It's not science. It's just magic. And once you find that person, if you just take a step back and acknowledge how fucking incredible it is that you're able to somehow, through all the noise, find this one person you're meant to find, your power becomes limitless.
You know what though? I think like we talk to a lot of people on this show, and one thing that I worry about, especially in the culture that I'm in, is like I feel like I've never met a couple that has all their shit together all the time. And I think the ones that we've met that are the strongest, like they're working through that shit together and they're basically just committed to saying, hey, it's going to get tough sometimes, but we're going to solve it together. I think like I see a lot of people sometimes like something's not perfect in the relationship and their first answer is to either throw it away or step out or something. Like Lauren and I's relationship's gone through ups and downs and trials and tribulations all, for as long as we've known each other. But I think at the end of the day, why I never worry about it is I know we're both committed to solving whatever issues we have together. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's not like a throwaway relationship where I'm like, oh, that got hard, so we're like going off and doing something else.
That's not even in a, like 1% possible. Like it's not in our front of mind that this will ever end. Now we go at it, man. We rarely fight, but when we do, because we have
Fireworks.
tough personalities, but it's just a prequel to Makeup Sex, so it's all good.
It's also
it's
fun
almost
to
like,
have a Broadway show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
right.
I think Lauren does that just to like, just to
I
to
love
fuck with
it.
you. Yeah.
Mix it up. You want me to have some flat, boring relationship?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, what?
I
I'm like,
love an ebb and a flow.
yeah, she just
Yeah.
she just gets into some shit for no reason. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this. But to your point, the sex will be good in the morning.
That's right. There's,
Okay, so when you guys were coming up together and you're struggling and you're eating ramen and you're shopping at
With
John's,
cilantro.
what's going through your minds and what are you guys ideating on to try to get yourselves into a position like you are now?
That was the toughest time in our life. Like I can pinpoint 2006. It was just like a terrible time in our relationship. And like if there was any time that we would have pulled the cord, it probably would have been then. And we just didn't do it, man. I don't have any, there's no logic, but we just stuck together and we got through it. And we just believe there'll be better times ahead. And I think sticking together that's the only feedback I can give you is when you stick together and you believe in one another, amazing things happen.
Well, this is what I kind of want to talk to both of you about this, at least the mindset that you were in to keep going, because again, I think people don't realize like you're going to hit hard times in life, even if maybe you found early success. Like there's always something behind the corner. And I want to like kind of talk through, and I wish more entrepreneurs would do this, especially successful entrepreneurs. Like what was going through your mind to keep you guys motivated and keep pushing?
I knew that both of us were not afraid to work hard. So I knew that life was just challenging in the moment. And here's someone in my life who is going to, our dreams and our goals and our visions aligned. So I knew that no matter what, the tough times, the good times, like we're going to get through this because A, he's not afraid to work hard. B, we believe in one another. And C, we're going to do whatever it takes until we get there. Until today, we still have that mindset. Like we have challenges in the business and we sit back and we go, okay, we just haven't identified the answer, but it's out there. And so I always say to him, our dreams, for me, I know today we can accomplish anything because we have each other. As long as we've got each other, we've got everything.
But there were times I think it was close to the other side too. Like really, I believe that year it was just really tough on us. We had a bunch of stuff happen to us. It was tough. It was just something out there, man. It's hard to explain it. We just knew that we're supposed to be together, and these bad times would just go away as long as we stuck to it.
What were some of the things you guys did to kind of move the ball forward during that time? Like when you're that down and out and you're struggling that hard, like what were some of the things you guys did?
I wasn't a big communicator back then. Durana loves to talk about stuff to the end of time.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. And so she really kind of forced me into just talking more. And it's weird when you start talking about your goals and aspirations and your dreams together, it gives you a sense of energy you didn't have before. Like it ignites something that was dormant. And we did a lot of that. In fact, one thing she did, I'll never forget, we sat down and talked about what we want to accomplish. And she typed them up into this little piece of paper. And then she laminated
It's like
it.
the size of my credit card.
Yeah.
I put it in my wallet. It was like our
She carried it
3-year
with her.
plan and our 5-year plan.
Yeah. She carried it with her. And sure enough, in 3 years, we hit them. 5 years, we hit them. And then we surpassed all those things. But that little exercise of putting it out in the cosmos and believing in it was really big for us, because sometimes when like things happen spiral downwards, you think that it's going to be shitty forever, and you almost have to turn the tide by saying, no, 3 years this will happen, 5 years this will happen, and they really did. It happened just like that.
I would love for you guys to speak on the evolution. So where were you guys when you started, like business wise?
Yeah.
And then what were the stepping stones with each business that got you here?
Yeah.
And really walk through it, because people are looking at you too. You obviously have a beautiful marriage. You have 2 kids. You have all the things and all the boxes checked. And now you have this booming business. But I'm really interested on what happened before this and what the first business was that took you to the second business, to the third business, to here.
Yeah. So that's an important story, because I think people just see the end result. This was our 5th company, and we've had successes throughout. We've had terrible failures throughout. So our first successful venture was as an accessory company. We made cell phone accessories called Ducky Accessories. It was a side gig. We did it while we were in corporate America with AT&T at the same time. I was a head of sales, she was a head of marketing for our specific divisions. And that went well. When that went well and we made a little bit of money, it gave us motivation that we can actually do something of our own, that we can own something. Like the one piece of advice that I would give to anyone is go do your own stuff. Like your own stuff is the most empowering shit in the world, whatever that stuff is. The one that really kicked it off for us though was our cell phone stores. So we left AT&T, and the way the corporate...
And you were both working at AT&T together.
Yeah,
Okay.
This was the toughest decision we ever made. So we had just bought a big home in Georgia. We lived in Atlanta at the time. My wife had just given birth to our youngest, Ariana. I think she was like maybe 3 or 4 months old. And we both decided that it's time. Because we were never around our kids. We were working like, 70 hours a week, 60 hours. We'd never see our kids. And we made the decision that it's time to go and do our own thing. And so through some contacts, we got some contracts to be able to own our own cell phone stores. And we took everything we had and we dumped it into these stores. So we left at the same time. And the way the corporate America, at least AT&T did, was their bonuses were 3 years in the rear. And they were like a vast majority of your comp was your bonuses.
So they lock you in that way too.
So if you leave, it's gone. And ours was that times 2, right? So it took a lot of balls to say we're going to do that, but we believe in each other.
Because you both had the bonuses accumulated, and if you both left, you...
Bravo, yeah. So we lost all of it. So we made the call, we're going to lose all of it because we believe the long term of having something of our own, that we can control our time. And time was the big deal for us because we're both really ambitious. So we left every morning at like 7:38, came back at 5:36, spent like 30 minutes with our kids, put them to bed, and then back on our laptops for the rest of the night. And we just knew that wasn't like scalable for the next 20, 30 years. So we started the cell phone business, opened the first store, second, 5, 10, 15. And I just told, my wife found out about this recently in the podcast I did because I was just trying to be protective of her stress. It was getting so bad that I had to take a second mortgage on our home. And we were like 2.5 months away from being like homeless. Like we're done.
And you had no idea?
No. She was our chief operating officer and she was doing great. And so finally we hit a place where we had very little money left. And I went to Durana and said, she didn't know about the mortgage on the home, but I said, we got to figure something out. And she made the ballsy decision of like quadrupling our advertising expenditures, which typically when people are struggling, they reduce expense. She was like, no, we're going to expand expense. We're going to go for it. And we did. And those 14 or 15 stores wound up becoming 172 in 6 states. And then we sold to a publicly traded company. And that was the big one. Once we got that one, we had that big nest egg and we put it away and we invested it properly. Then it was on. Then we knew that we can do bigger and better things.
And what was next?
Next one was Dash Radio, which we still have. It's one of the largest music platforms in North America. We have about 25 million customers now. I think it's the third after Pandora and Spotify. I think it's the third largest right
Dash.
now.
We used to put our podcast on Dash.
We did?
Yeah.
It's actually the largest the mostly used app in all GM vehicles today for the last 4 or 5 years. So if you have a Cadillac or a Yukon or something, it's number 1 there. And that thing is still up and running. But we wanted to do something a little different. We wanted to do something. I remember I was driving to our Yasmin, our eldest daughter's career day. It was her first career day. I was thinking about what she would be proud of. And like mom and dad are really good at making money is not something that kids give a shit about. And this is where Cymbioktika came about. And so here we are now 4 years later.
Cymbioktika is part of my everyday wellness routine. I personally, out of all their products, am obsessed with 2. Okay. The ones that I cannot go wrong with are their magnesium and their glutathione. They have 2 magnesiums. I use them both. One is liposomal, so I'll just put it in my mouth quickly on the go. And the other one is they have this lavender spray that I spray on my body, and I do it every single night before I go to bed. Sometimes I even put it on the bottoms of my feet. I tell all my friends about it. It smells like lavender. It's absolutely delicious. And I like the fact that it absorbs in the body, like when you spray it on. I think that's really cool. You don't have to take it or eat it, or it's not a pill. It's just absorbed right away. And then their glutathione, this is the one that I tell everyone to get. This glutathione I take every single time that I have a sip of alcohol. I just think it helps with hangovers. It helps with energy levels. And it's really, really thought out. So their products contain no fillers or harmful ingredients. Everything's science-backed. So if you don't know where to start and you're on Cymbioktika, because they have a lot of different products, I would get Their liposomal magnesium L-threonate. I would get the magnesium spray and the glutathione. You cannot go wrong. I got these for my dad for Christmas. Their formulas are great for gut health, detoxification, skin health, and premature aging. They really hit all the spots. Start your subscription today. You can save 15% off your subscription with our code SKINNY. Just go to Cymbioktika.com and use code SKINNY on your subscription order. There's certain brands that I just reorder and reorder and reorder. And one of those brands is Primal Kitchen. This is the move on what to get. You have to get the avocado oil. I have cut so many oils out of my diet by just replacing it with Primal Kitchen's avocado oil. The other move, and you can't go wrong with this, is their ketchup. They have the best ketchup on the planet. Once you know what's in actual ketchup too, it's not it. Primal Kitchens are absolutely delicious. It's real, delicious, bold flavor, tastes like the perfect ketchup. Many of their products are made without cane sugar, no corn syrup, no artificial sweeteners. I really like how their ketchup has no cane sugar and no corn syrup. So many ketchups do. So the avocado oil and their ketchup, you can't go wrong. If you cook for your family, this is the brand. There's so many different products that they make and everything is just real. Eating right to me is so important for me and my family, especially my kids. And I don't have a lot of time because I'm a working mom. I'm sure a lot of you guys get that. But Primal Kitchen just makes it so easy to whip up the most delicious family meals that we feel good about. And my kids like it. Kids are picky, but they love this. If you want to get some great grilling sauces, dressings, they have like a dressing that you can marinate chicken in. It's delicious. Get the ketchup, the avocado oil. You can find Primal Kitchen products at Target, Walmart, or your local grocery store. I stock up on my products at Target, or you can go to Amazon and get 20% off your order with our code 20SkinnyPK at checkout. That's 20SkinnyPK.
This episode is also brought to you by Squarespace. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Squarespace, Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Lauren and I have been talking about Squarespace for years. It is an incredible platform for anybody that wants to stand out, build a business, a platform, an audience online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create beautiful websites, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content on time, all in one place, all on your own terms. Some of our favorite features are you can create your own online store very easily to sell your products. They have flexible website templates to get you started with any kind of design for any kind of category. You can customize your look, you can update your content, your features are all unique, built to your creative aspects for your brand. You can also create highly engaging email campaigns. I think email is some of the most underpriced assets online. Think about what you can own online. You can own your RSS feed, whether it's your podcast, hint, hint. You can own your email newsletter, and you can own your website, all without the approval of third parties. I think this is an incredible tool, and Squarespace does it all. If you're thinking about building your own online presence, your own online store, your own email campaigns, anything that you want to build and control for yourself online relatively easily and cost effectively. So check it out. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to www.squarespace.com/skinny to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Again, that's squarespace.com/skinny. So check it out. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to www.squarespace.com/skinny to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Again, that's squarespace.com/skinny.
Okay. Tell us how this became what it is. And I want like the minute that you decided you wanted to do this, from like how you put together the packaging. I want all the details.
Yeah, and I think this is super interesting for this audience because they know, I mean, Shervine, I think maybe holds the record for people coming on this show. We love Shervine.
And Shervine also has come on and given us the best wellness, health, diet, butthole sunning tips he can give us. But like, yeah,
we've gone on the rabbit hole.
One of the
with
reasons
Shervine.
I wanted to have you guys on is because this will be interesting to hear really how it started. And I'm talking about from the root of the root.
Yeah, so I'll set it up and you can talk about the packaging stuff. Okay. So, because Shervine and Durana have a really interesting relationship. They're like brother and sister, and they also want to kill each other at multiple times of the year. So, Shervine and I grew up together. So, we're like 14 or 15 years old. We were friends.
Hold on, what was he like?
He was the same and also really different, but also very different. So, like, he was always into this, we call it the alternate health community world where, you know, he would go to the Amazon jungle and like all these crazy places and do all this stuff, the balls in the sky. That was normal. But he was also into like the normal stuff that we all did too. We go to Vegas and party and do all these things too. But he transitioned a lot through the years, you know, when his father got sick, especially. His father is one of the top 5 greatest human beings I've ever been around. He's a great man, and I have a great deal of respect for him, and I miss him. And it's a travesty to the world that he's not here today. That's how great of a man he is. But that Shervin's transition to like full on, as he like to say, into the spaces was really designed to help his dad, because he was trying to help his dad elongate his life and get better, et cetera. And so Shervina started his company, Cymbioktika, in May of 2018. And this was around the same time that I was having these conversations with my daughter about the career day stuff. And I told my wife, because I promised my wife we're going to retire after this last exit, the cell phone exit. We're done. We had Dash Radio. That thing was cooking. And it was just time to relax and enjoy life. And so I came to her and said, I want to get back into this business. My friend started this company on Cymbioktika. I want to kind of look under the hood and see what's there. And she was adamantly against it.
Sorry, and to backtrack it, we were living in the East Coast. We came out here to visit friends out in OC, Orange County, and we had rented a home, and Shervin came to the home, and he was like, "Dude, you guys are crushing it." And then that was kind of the start of the conversation.
That was the genesis. So she finally caved and said, "All right, let's look under the hood." And what we saw was interesting. I've never seen this before in business. There was like a bizarre, unique energy around the company. Like there was a momentum there for sure. Like you can feel it. But the business itself was a disaster. Like it was the website was like 1975, and there was no insurance, and the products were being packaged and sent out of Big Bear. One employee was like shipping all the products out of like a plastic bag. It was a disaster.
There's no infrastructure to the
There was
company.
zero infrastructure, and there was no 100% of the sales were being driven by affiliates. There was no e-commerce. Like, there was nothing that you would categorize as actual business, which was the craziest shit, because you had insane amount of energy and momentum. Like you can't buy that. Like you can't create that
It's like
energy.
a unicorn.
Yeah, it was a unicorn. It just needed the right leadership and experience around how to implement and scale it. So when Shervin and I met at this house Durana mentioned, we agreed that we're going to become partners. And January 1st, 2019, we became equal partners, Durana and I and Shervin, and we're off and running. Then we brought in a bunch of executives that we worked with in the past, like Sal, our CMO.
Sure.
He's been our CMO for all our companies. We brought him over. Our chief strategy officer, our general counsel, we brought him over from other companies. We did about $1 million that first year. We were just kind of learning the business, because none of us really knew e-commerce, D2C health space, that very specific niche. And then fast forward this year, this is public now, we're going to do a little bit over 100 million this year. So 100x in 4 years. And I think—
What was the growth like for someone who's listening that hears $1 million your first year?
Yeah.
What was the second year?
We did
Can
$1
you
million.
divulge?
Yeah, you got it. 1 million, 5 million, 15 million, 41 million, and 100 million.
And what was the biggest jump from the last 2 years? Like, what did you see was so transformative in those 2 years that you had such a profound jump?
Yeah, so 2019, 2020, we took a lot of time to figure out like the gaps in the business, not only our business, but the industry in general. And then we like settled on 2 things. Like, forget products, because you have to have great products. Like those are just table stakes. If you have shitty products, customers are smart. If you give them bad product that you can't validate, which is one of the things that we're really proud of.
Well, I think it's important for you to say that, because I think a lot of people now create businesses and they just rely on marketing tactics. You know what I mean?
No, that stuff is they'll take you to the next level. The prerequisite is you got to have the greatest possible product or service. Like Dear Media provides a great product and service. There's tons of podcast platforms out there, but they fail. Why? Because the product isn't great. The product has to be what it is. And 2, you got to be transparent. If you go on our site right now, we're the only company that posts our COA, our certificate of analysis of where the products came from.
That's cool.
Who tested them. So we're fully, in fact, if you're one of our competitors, and I challenge you guys to do this, go to our site and replicate our products. You can do that. We're so transparent. We've left our formulas down to the ingredients, down to where it was registered, where we got the products from, and replicate
They won't
them.
though, because they don't want to spend the money on they won't go replicate your products because it's too expensive to replicate their
Thank you.
products, and they won't make a big enough margin.
Thank you. So one of the things I'm very proud about, so we have a product committee, development committee. We have this meeting every week. So Shervin leads that committee, but we have PhDs and MDs that are involved and a bunch of leaders in the company. One of the things I'll never, ever allow is, so we have a vitamin E coming up, for example. We'll never say this vitamin E has to end up at $20 at our cost. Never, ever. Because when you say that, here's what happens. One, either you have to go buy crappy synthetic ingredients from some God knows place in the world that no one knows what it is.
Compromising the quality.
Compromise the quality. Or it's the easy thing to take a red pen and just cross out other ingredients because it's cheaper, just get rid of them. and then lower the efficacy of the product. We won't do that. We just won't do it. Like there's some things that we'll be flexible on. That's not one of. We'll never effing do that ever.
When you scaled though in the last 2 years, what were the things that you did differently?
Yeah,
Did you add product? Did you add better marketing? Did you
Can I
come
say
on the
something?
Skinny Confidential, him and her podcast? Like
That
what
was
are
the main
things?
thing. It was the skinny. The skinny changed everything. So when we analyzed the business, we found 2 major flaws for everyone around us. One, everyone outsourced their marketing departments. So like if you go to use a digital marketing firm, you guys know a bunch of these companies. They're great. They're fantastic. But you're one of like each rep has like 30 or 40 different companies to represent. So how much of your time are they really giving you? And then 2, like they can't be nimble. We want to be fast and nimble. So to Durana's point, you brought in, how many of you have in marketing now in-house?
Probably over about 35.
35 in-house marketing folks, and 100% of our content. So we have 2 studios in our office. You guys saw when you were there. We record all of our own video, graphics. We do everything in-house, and we're nimble about it.
And if I could give like anybody starting a business advice, we got a lot of shit for bringing, like we do everything here internally in-house. Like there's nothing really, I don't think.
I was impressed. I walked around. Your infrastructure is incredible.
But it's like, listen, it's more expensive and it's harder to scale and it's more headcount to manage, as you guys know. But I think a lot of people, when they start, they quickly outsource as much as they can to save costs. But in the long run, like you don't have a real asset there.
Right.
Like in our world, a lot of, I think our competitors struggle because they've given a lot of control to third parties that either do their sales or do their marketing or whatever it is. And to your point, like they don't control any of that process. Or if they need to change something quickly, they're not able to.
Can't do it.
How have you added feminine energy to the brand? Because that's got to be something that has to do with the scale too. Like it let's be honest, there's men. So you've had to come in and add your vibes. How have you done that?
So, I mean, it's happened organically. I love women. I think, and I mean this out of respect, but women just do it a little bit better. We've got that emotional intelligence and that connection, right? So,
I don't know the balls to disagree with that. I just go with that for
67%
sure.
of our team are women. So as we have built the infrastructure, the departments, grown the teams, we have a lot of women who are inquiring, who are talented out there, who believe in our mission, who wanted to join the we're willing to take the risk on them because I believe in them. And we have, we celebrate women in our company, which is something that I'm incredibly proud of. We do women wellness events. We do 4 of them annually. And then internally, I do a lot for the women in terms of spending one-on-one time with them, having lunches with them. I like to personally get invested in them because I think that we spend so much time together that this is a very personal relationship. And I'm very invested in their success and helping them get to whatever it is that their dreams and goals are personally. So with that, I personally take pride in having so many women, or that woman energy in our company. And we take the time to celebrate one another.
When I went to your office, there was literally a meditation room
Yes.
I'm sure it's for everyone, but I'm sure more women use it. But it was like dark, but like also like kind of like stars on the ceiling, like really good vibes. You've really sort of infused the office with your energy.
Can I brag about that real quick? Because I'm so proud of Durana for this. We were notified in our prior office. We had another corporate office. Mike and I were talking about this earlier. We had 3 months to get out. So our lease had expired. They were going to tear it down, build a life sciences building. They said, you have 3 months to get out. We quickly found an office and they said, all right, to build this new place out, it'll take 6 months to build it out. Durana said, no, we're going to get this in 3 months. She was there every day with big contractor guys till like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. She was out there 5 a.m. the next day. And she personally, like with the office you guys saw, that was a vanilla shell. There was nothing there. And in 3 months, this woman made that vanilla shell into the office you saw.
Yeah, it's stunning. The
Which-
office is
which is
stunning.
I'm sure those
incredible.
contractors had a rough time showing
They're
up with you
terrified
there,
of her.
being there every day.
The funniest thing is one of those guys, the head contractor is like 6'5", 250 with a neck about this big. When Durana walks in, he panics. Like you could see him like running away for his life. It's the funniest thing ever.
What are some other things that you think have really helped to grow your business? Because it's a massive business now. What are some bullets that you would give people who are listening that are looking to scale their business?
Yeah, our tech. So the second thing we did was we brought all our development in-house. So like we have 9 code writers, right, develop for us every day. It allows us to be really, really quick. We have 9 full-time guys, gals and guys. And so when we find a gap in anything, we can make changes like that. If you outsource something like that, they'll take you 6 weeks.
What's a gap? What do you mean? Like a gap on the
So,
website?
Yeah. So for example, on the website, when we see conversions are low, there's something causing those conversion gaps. So then we can dig in through analytics and data, figure that out. We actually have a software we wrote ourselves that shows where our customers go on the site and then where the pain points are. We can see where they leave the site, why they don't buy. And then we have a quick meeting with the team and we identify those areas and plug those gaps. The second thing is we have insane analytics. We've written our own AI software that gives us data, and that data goes to marketing, and then marketing can make better decisions on advertisement based on that data. It's all in-house. And so if you outsource some of that stuff, you're 2, 3, 4 months behind. We're doing that stuff in real time in one day, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours.
And also like customer experience, we brought that in-house. So every time a customer calls in, it's a very personalized experience because they're like, oh, Durana, and we know their health journey.
You know,
and we're
the
there
cost
guiding
savings,
them.
So, cost savings from what we do versus like Philippines or India or Pakistan is 95% less per person to do that, per head. It's a fact. It's 95% less. And that was Durana's decision. She said, we're going to have it in-house because every time you call, you want to ask for Michael and get Michael every time.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
And then also just bringing fulfillment in-house. For us, it's at this point, it's so personal what we do, right? I'm like, if I take the time or we take the time to show up here and it's time away from our kids, then this is personal. I want to ensure that every single thing that we do, we've thought of, we've touched, because for us, the part of our customers' journey that we're in with them is so critical. This is their health. This is their well-being. This is how they show
Their
up for their loved
health.
ones.
Oh.
So fulfillment for us is really critical because when our community places an order, for them to get the right order, it's so important. So like that was for us like one of the most important things.
We own and operate our own warehouse, and we have a second one opening very, very soon, the next 3 or 4 months on the East Coast.
I also think it's like, I wasn't joking. Like we've had Shervino on the show so many times, and I think even like we're so familiar with the product, but every time he comes on, like I understand the reason why you guys are doing things and the intention behind it. And I think so many companies now, especially, in this e-commerce world we all live in, it's like, how many SKUs can I get out there? Like how often, how fast? And they don't really like give you the reason or the intention behind it. And I don't think enough companies spend enough time in storytelling, like telling people why this exists and why they should consider using it. It's just like, hey, this is another thing I'm launching. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. No, we do this. This is very planned. So we have a 24-month plan from today. We just had our Q4 meetings for the next 2 years. And so everything we release is very tactical and it's designed to help people. So, our home care line just came out. That was designed because Durana, about a year and a half ago, Durana took every product we had in our kitchen sink and our girls' bathroom out. We started Googling.
Which was everything.
Everything. Yeah. So we Googled all this stuff and then we sent them to a lab. We had 81 carcinogens.
Wow.
There's some normal stuff. We use countertop spray, dishwashing detergent, laundry detergent, all the stuff that we all use. And it was like, holy shit, there's 81 considered carcinogens that we're forcing down the throats of our kids, not knowing it.
When I first met Michael, he was using Dial.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I
use Dial too.
Now I have
Guys,
yeah.
Triclosan.
Yes, I
We
know.
can't be doing that. What you guys have done with the soap to me feels so comfortable because not only is it good for you because it has pre and probiotic in it,
yeah.
but it also is in glass, which Shervine taught me. You don't want to be using an amazing soap that's in plastic, that the plastic is just like sinking into the soap. Like you really thought of every pain point. I'm busy. I don't have time. I need someone to tell me where it's to stand when it comes to my soap. I don't want to buy a healthy, in quotes, looking soap and then find out that microplastics are sinking into it. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand why there's so many brands that try to sort of like half-ass it and like greenwash it.
It's just margins. And so like I spent a lot of times the last, 6 months or 8 months meeting with investment banks and private equity firms as we start getting ready for our first big round. And everyone just cares about gross margins. And it's such a short-sighted view because yes, you can make more money today, but you're going to pay for it in the long run. Consumers are smart. Eventually they'll realize we're just selling them as crap and you'll lose them forever. Our margins are freaking terrible. I'm not that, I can't sugarcoat that. There's nowhere to hide it. Every time I met with an investment bank, I have anxiety over that line on our balance sheet. But the reality is I'm also the most proud of that same number. Because that number means we're doing it right. I know the number sucks, but we're doing it right and we're doing it for the right reasons. And the reason, like our customer base right now, our average subscription length is over 6 months. In the subscription world, if you're past like 45 days, you've done great. We're past 6 months and it's growing
Oh yeah.
because
I
people
mean,
know this stuff is real. They try it and they know they can feel
Well,
it.
and listen, look at all these public companies that go public at huge numbers, and now you look at their stock and they're just like nothing.
$10. Yeah.
Because people, I mean, listen, I don't think they do it intentionally, but they're, to your point, they're focused maybe on the wrong things, on the margins instead of the customer satisfaction.
Yeah. I won't mention I don't want to get sued, so I won't say the name of the company. But a company just like that went public. They were known to being very transparent, very high-end quality. And it turned out one of the preservatives they were using in all their products was shit, and it was the cheapest thing ever, but it was a carcinogen, it caused cancer. And then their stock went down like 95%. So eventually you're going to pay the price for it. Why not just do it right from the beginning? Forget, like we were raised, my wife and I, with very high moral and ethic codes. And our company is really known for that. Like if you come to ask one of our folks, we never make decisions that don't include two main categories. All we care about is just two. If there's an intersect between our team members and our customers, and it benefits both of these groups at the same time, it's the right thing to do. If it doesn't, it's the wrong thing to do. I don't give a shit about the margin. I don't care how much revenue is involved. It has to be the right thing for our internal employees and our external customers. And you can find that point right between those two. It's gonna long term you'll win every single time. I guarantee it. Just do that.
Durana, how do you guys all work together, all three of you? Like, give us the juicy details.
I'm the referee.
You're the referee.
Durana and Shravan try to kill one another, and I try to prevent them killing each other.
Yeah, but what does each of you guys bring to the table? Like, what are you bringing that they don't have? What are they bringing that you don't have? Like, I want to hear a breakdown from like a team leader standpoint.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so I believe that Shahab does everything. Finance, infrastructure, the growth. He's the brains behind it all. He's the visionary.
That's not true.
He truly is. He's a leader.
That's not
He's
true.
just really humble. I like to say that I bring the people aspect, the culture, the
Well, that's a huge
operations.
aspect, though. There's no business without the people.
I mean, I love the people I work with, and I feel incredibly grateful that they give me a reason to want to show up every day. And I think that one of the things that I was going to add is that our culture is what makes Cymbioktika so great. You've got the most talented people in the industry who show up every day and feel supported, where they have resources and tools to come and do what they're passionate about, whether it's creating content, whether it's IT, whether it's customer experience. So that's what we do. Shirveen works on the product side of things. But I think we've got a really good balance. Like, I'm just a really passionate person, and I like to see results, and I'm like a straight shooter. So if there aren't results there, I want to get in the boardroom and I want to know why. Because at the end of the day, for me, we're all putting in time, right? I'm giving, it's a push and pull. For us to show up every day to the office to ensure that we are successful, there's something that we are giving up, and that's time with our family. That's time with our loved ones. And so if we are dedicating time, to me, it's like, just don't bullshit my time. So that's where I come from, where we sometimes can butt heads.
I think everyone plays a very important role, and I'm not bullshit talk track for your show. We have 102 people that work with us, and everyone's equally important. And I swear to God, this is the truth. Like I was on a very important call with the biggest bank in the world a week ago, and they wanted empirically to know what was the one thing that's driving this unicorn, as Lauren said. It is a unicorn now. It is. We're going to do $250 million in top line revenue next year for sure. Upside to 350 million maybe. It's magical, man. There's no other way to put it. Like if you walk around, you guys are in office, there's something there that you can't define, and it's not created by Durana or myself or Shirveen. It's a team thing, and everyone believes in one another, and more importantly, they live the life. Like it's not bullshit. They live the mission.
What makes a good employee? Say someone's listening and they want to get hired.
Character.
I think attitude and aptitude.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Less aptitude, more attitude.
What do you mean?
Like, I think you can teach most employees anything and everything, but you can't teach someone to have a good attitude.
Yeah.
And someone that has the attitude that's like, I'm going to show up here today, and no matter what comes in front of us, we're going to fucking win. We're going to overcome whatever it is. You can't teach someone to have that kind of attitude, to have work ethic. I think, you know, so for me, I look at someone that has a great attitude and wants to be there.
When you're looking to promote people, what are the traits you're looking for?
For me, it's someone that has their head down and is all about just getting the job done. who does their work with integrity, with passion.
We're the underdogs, right? So like, it feels like we're doing great, which we are. When you compare us against the biggest, baddest companies that we compete with, we're a little bitty, itty bitty company. So like, one of the main competitors that we have out there, our main competitor, raised almost $250 million last year. 250 million they raised. They spent $31 million this first quarter of this year. So January, February, March, $31 million just on TV ads. That's more money than we ever spent on marketing in totality. So like, the type of person that's to work with us on our team has to like have this attitude of, no matter what the obstacles are, we're gonna overcome them.
Well, you shouldn't have told me that. I'll just have Danielle send you a bigger bill.
So that I have a lot of respect for our team. Sometimes I'm humbled by these. We have a lot of young guys, young folks, and it's the best thing that's happened to us, because they don't. And they're gonna watch this, so don't get mad at me when I say this. They don't know any better. Like, they don't know they're not supposed to compete with these big bad companies with $200-300 million. They're so freaking smart, man, and they're so passionate, and they have ideas that we haven't heard or seen before, just brand new, and they're not afraid to do them. So like that's what's taking this company to the next level. This group of young, amazing people.
When you guys work with a micro influencer or a macro influencer, what are you looking for? Because maybe there's people who are listening that really want to work with Cymbioktika. It's a very popular brand. What are the things that are like, okay, this is synergistic?
For me, it's just them truly believing in our mission and our goal, and that is to get this in the hands of everyone so that they can live longer, healthier lives. So just them being authentic to their community, and just living a healthy lifestyle.
My biggest frustration is, I wish we could share our customer testimonials, the ones that are really talking about what happened to their health, or their kids' health, or their parents' health, or their spouse's health. Like, we've changed a lot of lives, man. And that we've had meetings where people cry. Like, many of us wind up crying in these meetings because we're reading this stuff. We can't repost them, and we won't. But we read this stuff, and it's overwhelming that we've helped be part of this. It's incredible.
Before we go, we're going to play a game.
Oh, shit.
No.
God damn it. I was so happy. I'm like, we're almost there. And Lauren didn't do anything crazy.
We're almost going to go have a really great Brunello and a steak. But hold please. Before we go, we're going to play a game. We're going to go around. This is not anything sexual. Don't worry.
Your mom can still watch.
Suspicious still.
This isn't your favorite sex position. We're going to say,
darn.
Gun to your head. Doggy.
God, why do you got to put
I said, no, I said darn.
That's your problem. So
Wait,
now you've instigated
What's
it.
the favorite sex?
She said doggy.
Oh, doggy.
All right.
God, guys like doggy. Carson,
No, I didn't. I said darn. I didn't say doggy.
Well,
Doggy.
listen, my head's in a different space.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay.
Maybe your mom can't listen
Gun
anymore.
to your head. You can only pick one. You can't pick more than one. Your favorite Cymbioktika product, but I also want Michael and I to participate. I'll go first.
Okay.
My favorite. I love the glutathione when I'm drinking, but you're going to be surprised what I'm going to say is the lavender magnesium spray.
Oh, shit.
I know. You weren't expecting that.
It's the worst.
What?
No, I'll tell you why this sucks for me now, because this is one of the very few times Shaving got one on me, because he's like, his record is terrible on me. It's like 2 and 7 trillion. He really pushed for that. I'm like, this is not going to do well. And it's done great. So the fact that he's going to use this now, but thank you for pointing this out. He's going to leverage this.
Here's why I like it. It's multifaceted. So I use it at night before I go to sleep, which I love because it's relaxing and it's lavender and it's like really just a nice way to go to sleep. And I like to spray it on my neck. And there's something about it that like winds me down in my nervous system. And I feel like I'm getting the magnesium through my bloodstream, which is, we all need magnesium. We know that. But I also like it because I've learned so much about what's in perfume, which is fucking disgusting. Go
terrible,
Google it.
Yeah.
And so the next morning I'll wake up and I'll use it before I go to the gym or if I'm like going to the supermarket or like something like super light because it's a little bit of a scent, but it's not overwhelming and it doesn't have all the shit in it.
Yeah. It's one of our highest, like a 3rd or 4th highest reviewed products.
I love it.
People use them, love them. So I'm not super surprised you said that because everyone loves that. Everyone
I spray
loves
it on my kids. Like they love it. That's my favorite. Okay.
Well, you
Nope, gun to your head. You can only pick
will
one.
tell
We
right
know
now.
you have
But
100.
I have. So I told you guys earlier when I travel, I slam the elderberry and the vitamin C over and over. I forgot I got to do the silver now, so I'm going to do that.
Yes.
So like I just named 3. But I'm really into the magnesium threonate right now because I got rid of all like sweeteners in the coffees, and so I use that. I use that.
Yeah.
And he uses it in his matcha with raw milk.
Yeah, and I
you're
use
on
the
top of this
matcha.
stuff,
Yeah, so
man.
I feel like, I mean, listen, I've talked to Sherveen so many times, and I'm not joking. When I talk about your company, I say I'm like the best customer, even though I have a code and I use my own code. But you know, I do.
I have my dad on it, my stepmom,
we'll send you all
my
this stuff,
sister.
man.
But
I
you
have everyone on it.
know, also for our children, we have a routine now where every morning they say red and yellow, and that's the B12 and
It's
the D,
really
and,
cute.
and they get some squirts every morning.
I say, who wants red and yellow? And literally, my 17-month-old goes, me, 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 me.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Really cute.
So-
Okay, now you guys have to say yours.
Mine's vitamin C, and just I think it's beauty from within. So I love it. I love putting it in my water every single morning.
I just
like
slam it
orange
out of the
juice.
pack. Is that like?
No, it's good. That's you're supposed to do it that way.
okay.
But
Just-
Durana's,
I like to just dilute
Yeah.
it and put it into water.
Durana
so
only
that
to drink water. It's a way of like forcing her to drink water
Yeah.
and have the vitamin C at the same time.
Okay.
I think the best product we make is not even close to the glutathione.
Yeah, it's really
think-
good.
I think
It
if-
is the best glutathione on the
It
I think
is
if
for
more
sure.
people
Yeah.
knew about glutathione and what it really does and how powerful it is, we sell the crap out of it, but for good reason. But I think it's by far our best product.
What does it do? Just if someone's
I
listening.
mean, it's the most important antioxidant
Antioxidant.
detox you could possibly do. If you drink like we do, and we're about to,
Like
about
we've been
45
doing on the
minutes
show.
with you guys, you should have glutathione in your diet. And we don't, there's not enough food we can eat to supplement enough glutathione. It's a natural product.
Before I started taking your glutathione, I used to just get the IV, but then
Yeah.
now I really don't do that much anymore.
Yeah.
Now I just do the
IV is
yours.
important. I just got one right before we came.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't look.
Yeah. I just
I'd
got
rather
one.
just take my symbiotic.
I'm like, I want to see Lauren and Michael. I'm like, I need an IV
Oh.
preemptively. It's a preemptive IV,
Oh,
Just preparing. For
preemptive
you.
strike.
I have to ask one more question to
Yeah.
Durana, just because she's glowing and she looks so pretty. Sorry, this has nothing to do with you two. What, before you go, because this is the Skinny Confidential, you have to tell us beauty and wellness tip. You got to give it.
Beauty and wellness tips. Well, first I would say that I feed my soul with really amazing people around me who I believe I'm always happy with the incredible friends and family members that we have around us. I would say we have healthy sex. I have a
Nice.
very
Facts.
facts. I'm really big on like self-care, self-love. So I do my like light therapy. I'm really big. You and I spoke about this, about getting my facials, hydrofacials, and then just, eating in moderation. So for
She's
me,
so disciplined though. She's lying, man. She's got so much more than that. We'll come back from like a late night out, like 1:32 in the morning. I want to go straight to bed. She's got this 25-minute skin routine that she won't she won't ever miss it no matter what.
Yeah.
Like I'm on my deathbed trying to go to sleep. Everything is spinning and she'll still do her skin routine.
I mean, I wash my face every single night. I double cleanse morning, night. So yeah, I mean, there's more to it, but I think the most important thing is just like feeding your soul with good people around you and having good intentions. I'm really big on philanthropy work, so I think that's part of like just my like ecosystem of who I am and part of my own happiness. And then a big part of that is just creating experiences with my best friend over here. We do little getaways. So 23 years of marriage, we have our little getaways, and I love that. And we have our glass of wine every night. So for me, like my happiness from like you may see the outside because I've got an amazing glam team that always is doing me up, but my true happiness glows from my best friend and my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone
Feel
can
better
see why
about
we
myself.
wanted to have you guys on. I mean, could have talked for hours with you guys.
We're
but-
gonna keep talking. But
Well, yeah, we have to go have some Brunello and some glutathione. Where can everyone find you guys? Pimp yourself out. Do we have a code for the audience? Can we do code skinny?
Whatever you guys want.
same
Code
one.
skinny, and then can we put together a him and her package to one winner?
You got it. Whatever
Yeah,
you guys
would
want.
love that.
Okay, all you guys have to do is follow at Cymbioktika on Instagram and tell us your favorite takeaway of this episode on my latest post at Lauren Bostic. And where can everyone find both of you to message you to say hi? Pimp yourselves out. Tell us the website.
Okay, Shahab Elmi.
And I'm Durana Elmi.
We're gonna link it out anyways.
We'll
We'll do
link it
one
out.
better. Whatever you guys want, whatever contest you run, we'll do 1 year for unlimited Cymbioktika, whatever they want.
Whoa, that's
What?
big. Wow, that's
Yeah.
a big. That's a big
Yes.
one.
Wait, I'm entering.
Oh, you already got it.
I got you.
It looks
girl.
like the winner's Michael Bostic.
Okay, you guys. So someone gets a year's supply of Cymbioktika to enter this giveaway. You know what to do. And use code SKINNY to shop. Like I said, get the freaking magnesium lavender spray. You will not be sorry. I personally am such a fan of these two people. I'm a fan of Cymbioktika. I use it every single day. I give it to my children. I mean, it's literally a dream partnership. And I just am so grateful to have met both of you and to have seen The Office and just been like immersed in everything you guys are doing.
And now that we've had you guys on, don't think this is going to be your last time. You're going to have to come
No,
back.
I know. We could have talked about a lot of other things.
I want to embarrass you guys before I let you guys go. The one thing that really impressed me about you two, of all the experiences we had, was at the beach. Two gals were
The
walking.
amount of champagne we had.
Beyond that.
I'm just joking.
Two girls were walking by multiple times. They finally came up to Lauren. And I don't want to give a lot of detail, but one of them had fought cancer. And you guys were a great inspiration. And you spent like 30 minutes talking to them, and you were so engaged. And that it really made me happy to see you, seriously. Because
They're girls.
when you have a platform and a bunch of people watch you guys and look up to you guys, and they get to meet you, and you're organic and spend time and energy with them, it was freaking awesome to see. So
Well,
keep it up.
normally we have a big stick and we hit them when they come near.
Yeah, I was expecting that, and then all of a
No,
sudden
I mean,
it was
listen,
different.
I think like,
Yeah.
you know, well, thank you for saying that. But I think Lauren and I like realize like we have this platform, but like we were given this platform by people that are interested in hearing what we have to say and who we have to talk to. So it's like, it's not lost on us that this is not like, you know, there's a participation from us, but this was given to us by people that, you know, have decided that they want to put their trust in what we're saying. So we
Yeah.
appreciate
I also
it.
think what Shahab's saying is, amongst the success you guys have had, you guys have never lost who you are. Like, you're still authentic to the day one Michael and Lauren.
Yeah, what she
And that's
said.
what's really cool for us to see, is we meet a lot of people and we're just like, you know, it's like at the end of the day, we're all still human beings, right? That's like the connection that we all have.
Lauren always says like, you never want to read your own press clippings. And I think that's very true because
I didn't say that. My dad did. But yeah,
well,
Well
I
said.
adhere to
Well
that.
said.
but it's
I
true,
hear that.
right?
You
Like,
can't read. You can't read. By the way, negative or positive.
also, you know, and you guys know this, I think as soon as you start believing the hype is when you're going to start to slow
It's
down
a
and
wrap.
get comfortable.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Guys, come back anytime. I can't
Thank you.
wait to see what you guys are going to do in the future. It's going to be a real fucking roller coaster.
Thank you,
guys
guys.
for having us.
Love you
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Love you.